Good morning and welcome to a conversation with Mose. And as always, I pray life is treating you well wherever you are in the world and that you're one day closer to your dreams coming true. And I also wanted to say welcome to a new conversation, actually, the first conversation for 2023. I really am excited about sharing new things with you, old things, new things, possibilities, and all that good stuff. And I also wanted to thank you all for listening and engaging with me in 2022. You really helped me out with a lot of things, whether you realize it or not. I appreciate the comments and the positive, negative, all of everything, all of the above. I really appreciate you. And I do hope that you'll share with your friends and family if you find if you're touched in some way. I truly appreciate it. And I wanted to basically change up my thought processes. I want to keep it interesting and I want you guys to stay engaged. And I want to talk about subjects that I hope provoke change or thought within you. And then I feel like I've done my due diligence, but also changing myself in the process. I want to grow with my listeners and I want to watch you grow and I want you to see me grow and change on this journey because I believe we're all going through a process, whether we realize it or not. So, my podcast wouldn't be a podcast without a poem. And this poem is from my book, The Love Inside, and it's called Love of a Lifetime. Beautiful I am, so I've discovered. Faithful I am, so I've come to be. Survivor I am, because of the love inside. I am the gold at the end of rainbows. I am love personified. And that's one of my favorite poems from this book, Love Inside, which is available now where books are sold. And just a FYI, you can also buy my books on at my Etsy store, All Things Moetic. If you're not familiar, just stop on by. It's All Things Moetic. So today's subject is going to be your body is sacred. You are sacred. Hence the poem. You are the gold at the end of rainbows, if you're not aware of that. And I wanted to talk about something. I've been wanting to talk about this subject for a while. I just kind of wanted to wait for the right time. And it's probably going to be a little jumbled, and I'll probably do a part two to this particular subject. But I want to talk about social media and the way we present ourselves socially, dating, just kind of how we present ourselves to the world and to each other, and just my observations. Just I don't believe in going online and putting people down, and I see a lot of things that I don't particularly care for, but people are human. I don't really comment on. Like I said, I don't believe in putting people down regardless of my thoughts. Some things should be just thoughts, and that's it. I don't really understand how people can judge other people so harshly and feel like they're in a position to be able to say something about someone's life, livelihood. But just in recent years, things that I've noticed with celebrities and with everyday people, I I have a lot of questions and I'm just baffled by how we maneuver in this life and the changes we make to ourselves. And I myself, I'm in my 50s now, and I like to say I have a dad bod, and I've never been one of those people that walked around with my shirt off and my chest out, and you know So I have a lot of respect for people that are very comfortable in their skin that way. And I love who I am. Don't get me wrong, I do, but I'm just not one of those people that likes to show my body in that way. But I see things online like Instagram and Twitter. And for one, the first thing I always feel like there's websites for exhibitionism. I mean, to be free spirited with your body and all that. I think there are websites for those avenues. And what troubles me is, for us black business owners and people that are promoting their product, it's I don't like seeing it mixed in with people that are grinding. So in between, when you're scrolling on your feed, you're seeing all this sexuality and all this other stuff mixed with people that are really trying to sell their businesses and their product. And I just wish they would separate the two. And I don't understand why people need to, like I said, show themselves in the midst of people's, hard work. And I just feel like there are avenues, and that shouldn't necessarily be on the same space or in the same space with people that are, like I said, are grounding and selling product. The second part of that is I think we sell ourselves short when it comes to our bodies. And there's nothing wrong with being confident with who you are. And I just think that who are we doing it for? I mean, sometimes I feel like we want approval and we want the likes. And like, again, don't get me wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with presenting yourself in a way where you want people to like you. But do you want the world's approval, or do you just need it for yourself? Because I want to be liked. Of course I do. We all do. But I think at the same time, the world can build you up, and the world can take you down. And I think you have to make up your mind whose approval you need. And that's kind of where, again, I think realizing that your body is sacred. Everybody shouldn't be looking at it, engaging with it. And I also feel like if you're in a relationship with somebody or looking for a relationship, I honestly feel like nobody should be touching your body, engaging with your body if they're not prepared to help you take care of it. Meaning your mind, your mental state, your physical state, really taking care of you. Nobody should really be allowed to engage with you that's not prepared to help you take care of your body, your temple. And the older I get, the more strongly I feel about our bodies and sex and who we allow in our space intimately. Because I believe when we're taught as children, especially boys, you know, having sex and getting a good nut, for lack of a better word, it seems like it's planted in your head. And getting sex and being a player, I guess, so to speak, I feel like we're taught to be wolves at the beginning of our lives when we're coming into our sexuality. And honestly, I was very green. I've never been that guy. I never thought of myself that way as this aggressive person. But I think that women and men as should be teaching their boys how important their seed actually is. I don't fortunately have any children, but if I did have sons and if I was talking to them about sex and their bodies, I would tell them that their seed is really important, and I would place more value on. I think boys don't really know the impact of their seed, and you can't plant your seed everywhere. And I think if you take that perspective, I'm not saying every guy's going to take this to heart, but again, I believe that if we're teaching young men how important their seed is, that they wouldn't plant it everywhere. Like every woman isn't worthy of your seed. So if you give them a different perspective from birth, that maybe they would take their seed a lot more seriously. And I think a lot of us were just taught I don't think they really know the value of their seed or what it actually is. It's life. Just like women have their eggs to produce life. These I don't think young women are taught the value of, I don't want to say the value of motherhood. I think they know that. I mean, in terms of the life comes from women. I have so much respect for that. Mothers that can produce, life with God. And I just think we need to change our perspective on our bodies and how we're temples. We're literally, and I'm not coming from a religious standpoint. I'm not talking about the Bible. I'm not talking about scripture. I'm just saying, if we're taught that our bodies are sacred and we're sexual beings that need love and attention, I think we just could change the trajectory of our lives and realizing, telling ourselves that our bodies are sacred. And I hate that it took me going through cancer and going through a lot of physical changes in my life to realize my body is truly sacred. And getting back to social media, like all these changes people are making to their bodies, nothing against transgender, nothing against people that get plastic surgery. Um, I'm not saying I wouldn't change something if I could. I just don't know. I just think we really are not respecting our bodies in this particular juncture. I mean, I see outside of drugs, things we put into our bodies, the things that we do, and I see a lot of people my age that are dying. It seems like my generation isn't even getting to 60. We're losing so many people in their 50s. We're not even blessed to even get into our 70s. And that scares me. And I feel like physically, mentally, we're doing so many things that our bodies just can't seem to take it. And I really just want to point out, I mean, again, I know a lot of people might be thinking, what is he saying? I'm just saying our bodies are really, truly sacred. You are sacred. And how we present ourselves to the world and half naked and dancing around, and, you know, it's okay to be silly. It's okay to have a sense of humor. But I think it's one of those things where, again, asking ourselves, what exactly do we need from the world in terms of stamps of approval? Um, it's not about having the perfect body or the perfect look, because in my mind, there's always going to be somebody that looks better than you. Always. There's always going to be somebody has a better this or a better that. And I also believe in, if you want to lose weight, if you want to change your life, that's a lifestyle. I don't believe in diets. I believe in lifestyle changes. If you want to be a better person, then you have to change your lifestyle. Don't use words like diet or, I don't know, workout routines. It's a lifestyle. Anything you choose to do is a lifestyle. If you want to stop drinking, stop eating so much, change your diet. I don't think there's anything wrong with food. I think you just have to change your perspective on food. Figure out what it is that you want to do differently and do that. And of course, you want to like who you see in the mirror. We all do. But I don't think that's for the world. I really don't think we realize how sacred we are. And if you're in relationship, that should be for the person that you're with. As far as your body and exposing it and being, again, I don't really truly understand the need to be seen in that way. So, and then the other part of that is I think a lot of people want to be seen and they want to be heard. And that's how you get the attention. But sometimes you don't, and maybe you do. Sometimes you get what you ask for. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. But again, sometimes you have to ask yourself, what is it I'm looking for? What is it do I want for me? But again, this podcast is really just to focus on self reflection, self confidence, and digging down deep in yourself to ask yourself, what it is that I want for me. But whether you're in a relationship or not, especially for the people that are dating, let's just start there for a moment. If you're dating somebody, again, I feel like nobody should be touching your body if they don't have plans for it. Meaning, in terms of, I don't believe in the one night stands anymore. I don't believe in, I mean, I myself went through a change of self destructive behavior, is what I call it. When you just have to stop and again ask yourself, what is it you're looking for? Again, I'm all for, I think sex is beautiful, but I think you have to change your mindset about sex and, again, the sacredness of your body. And because like I said, when you go through cancer and you see your body go through changes, and I literally prayed and I asked God if He healed me, I would never treat my body the same way I did. And I haven't. Casually, we take for granted the things that our bodies can do, and we just, until you can't do it anymore, or it's a fear of not being able to do certain things. Just like I have so much respect for women and what they go through with their bodies and still be able to continue to be sexual beings and to feel sexy after you had a baby, and going through breast cancer and some of the, as a man going through cancer, I it was traumatizing for me. So I can't imagine the road that women go on, still wanting to feel virile for their husbands and their boyfriends after going through such a hard process with their bodies. Even having a baby, how do you go back to being the woman you were before that? So I have a lot of respect for that, and I just think that we really need to take stock of our bodies and really not present ourselves in a way, we really diminish our value. There's value in our body. I don't care what your body type is. Your body is sacred. You're sacred. Your mind is sacred. Your thoughts are sacred. And I think that's not for everybody. And I think when you start bringing the world into your space, no good can come from that. I think you really just, again, take this time at the beginning of the year and just assess. And like I said, if you're dating somebody new, it's not whether you want to get married again. It's not that. It's, is the person that you're with, do they value your body the way you value your body? Are they willing to help you take care of your body and your mind? And everything aside, that's what you have to ask yourself. Is this person willing to take care of me physically, mentally, emotionally? And how do I want to present myself to the world? Again, I think we diminish our value by putting ourselves out there in such a way that cheapens us. And again, I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. I just think that we really have to assess who we are and what we want. But we have to remind ourselves every day, I mean, every single day, that we are valued, we're beautiful, and encourage ourselves. And as long as we continue to love ourselves, we shouldn't worry about getting the approval from the world. And again, I'm probably going to do a part two to this at some point, maybe not on the next episode, but I do want to talk about this more. And I really would love to get your thoughts on just where we are in the state of the world in terms of social media and, augmentation of our bodies and just changing the way we look. And who are we doing it for? We've lost so many people to death for, people, like I said, doing a lot of things to their bodies, and things that we know, things that we don't know. And I would love to get your thoughts on that. But again, just remind yourself that your body is sacred. You are sacred. And take stock in that. And you are the gold at the end of rainbows, whether you realize it or not. And on another note, I wanted to talk about my store, All Things Moetic. Stop on by whenever you get a minute. You get a chance to see my books. You can actually get my books directly from me. Just go to my store, and I would prefer you buying the books directly from me. I'm going to have a whole podcast on publishing and, just royalties and things of that nature. But if you want to buy a copy of my book, feel free to stop by my store and pick a copy up, and I'll definitely sign a copy for you. Same thing with my pictures. If you see a picture that you like, and also if you see a picture in my store that you like, if you wanted a certain size, just let me know and I can make that happen for you. And as always, I thank you for listening and engaging with me. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And again, please share with your friend or family if you feel the need to, if you get touched in some way. It really, really helps. And as always, thank you for listening, and you have a wonderful, wonderful